Oneness, the very model of spiritual simplicity. Good morning, my friends. It's I, John, here on the back deck on a beautiful, beautiful morning. The sun has yet to cross the house, so I'm in the shade with the background behind me, drinking a beautiful mug of coffee. I so adore the elixir of life. I wanted to hop on and talk this morning about oneness. You know, you hear this on many different spiritual thoughts, non-duality, meaning oneness. And the idea of we are all one. When you look at the concept of we are all one, oneness is the very model of simplicity. What do I mean by that? In oneness, that would mean that all people of all faiths, all religions are part of your experience, part of your spiritual belief. In oneness, people all are together creating a world. And that's where we talk about collective consciousness and all those sorts of things. In oneness, you know, there's only one moment you ever live, and it's your present moment. The past is done, the future is not set. Oneness, you only live in one moment. So you're living in oneness. Everything is happening in the now. Everything is being played out around you in this one moment. When you look at that from the perspective of the very model of simplicity, it comes back to the idea that if it's all one, then it's all divine. Are there fearful things that happen in the world? Yes. How we react to them is how we live into oneness. Do we look at fearful things in the world and react and respond fearfully in retaliation, or do we stay in the oneness of realizing that our reaction, our action in that moment, in that one moment, is what changes the world? We can either perpetuate fearful things or stay in the oneness of us all and realize for the good of mankind, we are making our part of our one collective experience beautiful. And what happens is, you know, like attracts like. The more you surround yourself with love and compassion in the oneness, the more love and compassion surrounds you, because it's all one. As I said, you know, even time is one moment. Our experience in life is one experience. And I have often talked about the idea of moving to Delaware and the house across the street putting a blue roof on there. That's because we're one. You know, I put an intention out towards moving because Ohio is no longer for me. And Ohio started showing me that Ohio is no longer for me. It comes down to this place of understanding that we have the ability to create in this world a better world because we have the direct connection to everything in this oneness. Somebody's fearful, scared. We have the ability to alleviate their fears because they're part of us. And we can look at what they're doing and that aspect of self that's over there being fearful. If we can, out of compassion, stay out of reaction to their fear and escalating the fear, we can go into action and alleviate their fears. It comes down to understanding that when you are in a fear-based state, you are being obscured from your view of oneness. And when you are in a loving state, you understand that just being loving to that other aspect of oneness over there can help them become more loving, can alleviate their fears, can bring them back to the resonance of the oneness that we all desire. But it's a matter of us stepping into our own oneness and realizing that, you know, everything is one. And looking at it from the perspective that everything is one, you come to the model of spiritual simplicity. You don't start judging things by dogmas or doctrines. You don't start ruling people to be bad or evil. You don't start looking for demonic possessions or any of those things, because those are fear-based reactions to beliefs, dogmas, and doctrines that have been infused into the oneness of God. When someone comes up and they're mad, sad, frustrated, angry at you for what you believe, it's their belief they're struggling with. Most of the time, subconsciously, they're wondering why you're so happy when they're so miserable. Because in their fears and anxieties, and their judgments and their choices of doctrines and dogmas, they get mad because they see the struggle. I had someone just yesterday in one of my video comments call me a liar because she knows the demons are getting her. Right? She's in fear. She believes in demons. She sees the demons. And all I do is preach love and compassion for everybody. But I'm the liar. Why am I the liar? Because I recognize that she's in fear. I recognize that she's in fear. I tell her she's in fear. I show her that, she doesn't have to be afraid. There are no demons. But in reality, I also can be a part of the oneness as well, and realize that some people will just never come to the place of setting down their fears and anxieties. And when they get to the part of slandering, calling people liars, calling people names, calling people, whatever they call people, the reason they're slandering is because their argument can go no further, because they've got nothing else they can say to defend it. And they're trying to defend it, even though I don't defend my faith. They're trying to defend it, and their argument can go no further. So all they can do is call a name. All they can do is slander. Because, as Socrates said, when the debate is lost, slander becomes the tool of the loser. When you look at the idea of oneness from the perspective of that person in the oneness of God is just blind. Well, there's a famous quote about removing the log from your eye before taking the splinter out of your neighbor's. Pull the log, the splinter out of your eye, and look at it all as one. And then you start to say, oh, I'm not going to judge them for what they believe. I'm just going to try to help alleviate their fears. And at one point, when they finally get to the point of slandering and yelling and screaming, you just realize that's one part of the oneness that's not ready to let go of their fears, that's not ready to set down that anxiety, that's feeling their separation. And at some point, they'll have a revelation that will show them, and it might be on the other side. But the more of us who stay focused on our oneness and our love of our fellow man, I leave you one commandment: love one another. The more of us that do that, the more we can bring the kingdom of heaven to earth. And what is the kingdom of heaven? It's the feeling of oneness. It's the feeling of us all together. The Father and I are one, and you must become one with me as I am with the Father. It comes down to us choosing to be a collective humanity, not worried about borders, not worried about all those fear-based anxieties that have been placed upon us by modern politics, modern spirituality, modern religion, old religions. It's when we come back to simply loving one another, like Jeshua taught, that we truly experience the simplicity of oneness. And it can be that simple. And I'll tell you also this: when you get this, and when you start to live from this way, life becomes so much easier, because you're not struggling with fears, you're not struggling with anger. You're living into a loving space, and you're creating love, and you're seeing love, and you're seeing the fears, and you're offering an opportunity for them to step into love. But you have to love yourself in the oneness as well, and realize there are some times you don't continue the argument. And that's my thought on this. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.